Welcome back, everybody, to another True That Show. I'm super excited today, and thank you for coming back again. Yes, we interview the most amazing lifepreneurs and entrepreneurs, and I am so excited. We have an amazing woman with us today, Marilee Maricich, and she is an amazing entrepreneur and lifepreneur. We've got two in one for you guys today. And the reason why I'm so excited is because this woman is prepared to talk sheer entrepreneurship today. And a lot of times we have these amazing entrepreneurs and we talk about multitude of other aspects of their life. But this woman's like, let's talk about the heart of this business. And why am I so excited? Because this is how myself and Caroline met. This woman who just gives me flowers every day and sends me gifts. And she is my self-esteem. She treats me so well and loving. And I think you guys all know that I am bantering when I say that. So Caroline, I'm so excited to have Marilee on today because I know that not only, maybe you should share with people how we met. And we met on a true entrepreneur, true grit a business trip, and we became allies. I think, first of all, it was just safety and security. And then we realized that we had a lot more in common, and we are just 100% committed to the same industry. So what a great show for you guys to be tapping into, and what a great show for us to be participating in. So Caroline, how did this love affair start between me and you?
There's so many things I want to say in the short little introduction that you said. First of all, Deb, when you do a joke or when you banter, you don't have to say it. If it's true, you don't have to say like, "See, now I was bantering," but it's okay because I told Deb like in about 6 months she'll be able to banter, and not have to say that she is bantering. Yes, we met in Australia. So it's interesting enough because Deborah and I are both live in Canada. We live at the two polar opposites of Canada. She's in the west and I'm in the east end, and we met in Australia on a marketing tour. So I knew Deb only by reputation. And no, she was a person who was racking up all the awards and always on stage and always being recognized, always in the Success magazine, like month after month after month and weeks after weeks. Like every single time they were announcing awards, we would see her name. So that's what I knew of her, and I knew that apparently she was like, fierce and not stopping for anything and building her business. So when I arrived in Australia and I met her after flying 40 hours and being on layovers and everything, I was a little intimidated. But then the other person who organized the trip said, "Oh, you're sharing a room with her." And I was just like, "Oh." So yeah, it was quite interesting, quite interesting. When Deb starts, when she arrives at a place, she undoes her suitcase in a very interesting way. It's mainly like putting her things everywhere in the bedroom. And then I was looking at the one bed, it was two twin beds. I was looking at the one free bed and she's like, "Oh, that's your bed." I was like, "Cool, thank you." But anyway, so we spent 5.5 weeks together. We were 6 women. So, yes, we needed to find an ally. And believe it or not, even if she thinks I'm mean, I was the best ally in there. So, interesting enough, eh? But I would say that when you travel this long with someone and take 11 flights and 13 different hotel rooms and all of the mess that 6 women can bring traveling together, you end up never talking again or best friends. So I guess I'll let you I'll let you decide which one we became. But I remember very clearly, in our first years of our relationship, uh, Deb would be like, "Wow, you're really good for my self-esteem," eh? Because I was not the one. She's used to receiving flowers from everyone, and I was not sending flowers. I was sending the truth. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, get thicker skin, girl." So I think that after 5 years or 6 years or whatever, I've achieved my goal. She has thicker skin, and now she's laughing. But that's one of the great things that this industry brought me, and I would say her as well, but I won't speak for her. But Deborah, for you, we're talking about this industry about uh, you can really use it to have huge breakthroughs. What was yours?
That's a great question because I, and one of the reasons why I relate to Marilee is because I've always had that entrepreneurial mind. And I was one of those people that saw this sector, this business that we're in, network marketing, direct sales, relationship marketing, whatever you want to call it. I had a great imprint of it because my mother was in it and it was super fun. And I was young and I got to go to the parties with her and play grown up. But I think for me, because I've always been just such a lover of people and watching people grow. One of the things that's been the biggest, I don't know, catalyst for me, or has kind of, it keeps me driven. Like I don't, and I'm not saying that in an unhealthy way. It keeps me wanting more for others. It keeps me on the tip of my toes. There's like either a new product launch or a new venture into a country, or like there's always something that you're kind of inching for. And it really makes you peel off your own onion layers. Like I think it has stretched me at times where it feels stretched, and I get to meet a different part of myself, or I didn't know. It's like the longest running marathon I've ever run. And I have run a marathon, and I remember getting to mile 22 and I looked at my running partner. I said, whose friggin' stupid idea was this? Like literally what came out of my mouth. And she's like, keep going. And so I think for me, the biggest part of it has been the stretching of myself and meeting parts of myself that I didn't know existed. And so I have to say, because yeah, that was such a great trip through Australia. No, we had some great times with it, and it was super fun. And I got to listen to different kinds of music and that kind of thing. And so, Caroline, I have to ask you yourself, and I mean that's the best thing about this business too. I think that I get to find is that you get to be yourself. Like I don't have to walk into an office and put on a fake smile. I get to be real. There's a lot of part of this is it's real. We accept people for where they are, what's going on in their life, all that kind of stuff, for the most part. So I got to ask you, like, what is it about network marketing that rocks your world?
I'm laughing because you say we get to be real and do whatever we want, and I have my dress and my PJ pants. So yes, people, you could never go to an office this way. But I won't get up for you. What drives me, it's funny because you talk about, a product launch or launching a new country and everything, and I can bring it back to very something more tangible for me is you keep meeting new people that join your team or that join, your someone else in your team. And these are all new projects. It's all new. You start from zero and you get to know the person and you get to know their dreams and you get to work with them. And I realized that, when I was in corporate and everything, I worked on huge projects and I love creating and starting projects, but I get bored very fast. So when the project was, launching and going, I have a hard time then getting into the routine of just managing something. Then it gets boring. And that's one thing that I love about this industry. Not one day is the same because you deal with different people. So, and everyone's different and everyone has their own emotional baggage and this and that and that. So it's very interesting. And for me, that was, a big breakthrough was to finally accept that, hey, I have amazing strengths. They were just not meant for this other world. They're meant for this. So that was pretty cool. But what I want to, let's highlight our speaker right now, Marilee, because she had an amazing breakthrough. And actually, like when I met her, this is one of the first things that we spoke about. And I was absolutely in awe because it does take a lot of courage and strength to go through the process. And I will let her tell her own story. But welcome, Marilee. So nice to have you here.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Just love you ladies already. So fun.
Well, we love you too, so that's a good relationship. Uh, so yes, the dogs didn't get the memo of being quiet. Sorry, but Marilee, talk to us about what was your biggest breakthrough when you entered this industry?
Oh, so many different breakthroughs. I kind of to answer that, tell you a little bit more about myself. I think I was born with like it's in my DNA, entrepreneurship. And I think anybody that's in this industry would say the same thing. I mean, we were born with something inside of us that we knew we had a purpose. And I can tell you, 14 years in the industry and working with thousands and thousands of people, I can tell you that is the case for pretty much everybody that really starts to achieve. They felt like there was something inside. And I was absolutely that person. But it was hard to really wrap my head around because even by the time I was 5 years old, I really legitimately had an anxiety disorder. I filled with panic attacks and the whole 9 yards. And I dealt with that for 2 decades of my life. And literally it was pretty crippling. I actually would describe it as feeling like a prisoner in my own skin. In fact, I felt like I watched the rest of the world go by. That's the truth. If I really described it, I knew there was something out there. I knew there was a greater purpose for me. I just didn't know exactly how that was going to come about. But I think if you can relate to that, like when you know there's greatness in you, and I believe every one of us has that with my whole being. I believe every one of us has that. It's a matter of how do you tap into that, right? And so I really knew that was there, but entrepreneurial, tried lots of different ventures. And actually still we own our own traditional business today, but we literally trying different things. I think you end up finding yourself exhausted and really wanting to have that breakthrough. And when I landed in the space of network marketing, somebody approached me at the busiest time of my life. She was looking to build a team with people who could achieve things. There's a nugget for you right there. If you're in this space of network marketing and you're looking for people that will come in and hustle and run hard and want to build something, find people that are the busiest people you know that are accomplishing things. That's how I was approached. I was approached by that concept and that thought. And so of course, I said, absolutely no way am I going to do network marketing in the beginning. I mean, it was a swear word, for goodness sake. I was not going to touch the space of network marketing. But I literally, as the story goes, she actually showed me a presentation, and I sat there with my jaw on the ground thinking, I'm running on this crazy hamster wheel of busy. And I know from the outside it looks successful, but I was praying for an answer. I was praying for a way off a hamster wheel. And honestly, I said no to her presentation. I said no to the business. And then she went out immediately and started recruiting my friends. And I live on a small island in the Pacific Northwest. And it was just, I grew up in this island. She didn't. And how dare her? It was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because it really kicked me in the rear and kicked me out of my comfort zone and kicked me past the fears that held me back. And so I literally jumped into this space of network marketing, and that's where this story began. So it's just been the best thing that could have ever happened to me to really push me past those fears and all of those things. And with that, lots of personal growth, but that's where it started.
I love when you say that. When you say the best thing she could have done is go recruit my friends. I love it. But I want you to touch on a little thing before. You said you were on a hamster wheel, and I would like for you to share why you were on the hamster wheel, because I know your story, but I think it would be good for people to understand what was your background before being approached, because you know your background was pretty. I'll let you share it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a background in marketing, definitely in sales. I had done so many different things. I even played around with interior design for 8 years and specialized in yachts. It was really kind of a special space. But I absolutely, just found my way here. And my background, I think early on in life, we were trying to make it work financially. My husband was a commercial fisherman in the Bering Sea of Alaska. Again, I live on an island. We're surrounded by boats. Everybody knows that from this town, people are commercial fishermen. And so that was really that background piece to it. And he was making an incredible income in our early 20s. We were married in our early 20s, and incredible income. And we didn't want to take it for granted. We were trying to be responsible with that. But we had an overnight career-ending injury for him. I got a call, and he had hurt his back so badly they were sending him home. And so when that happens and your paycheck immediately turns off, like the biggest portion of your paycheck, you hit the panic button. So that was the first real lesson, that when you have an income that's truly based on just you showing up, and that turns off, you haven't built anything really bigger than yourself. And I was doing the same thing simultaneously. I had to, work an hour to be paid an hour, work a day to be paid a day. And, it really depended on me and my income, or him and his showing up. And so that was the first real slap of reality. And it was an important one when I look back at the journey, and just why it's so important to build something bigger than yourself. And so that hamster wheel, we recreated ourselves several different times. We started with our own, we actually thought, well, we'll create the American dream, and that is really to own your own business. And so we started a successful yacht detailing business, and in high demand. Actually, my husband would book out like a year ahead in the schedule. It was just a really successful business. But we found ourselves, that hamster wheel was, when I say that, we were working 100 hours a week, each of us, to make this business roll. And even though, like I said before, from the outside, if you looked at our lives, it looked successful. The house, the cars, the lifestyle, it looked successful. But at night, I was laying in bed praying for a way out. Somehow I would sit there and think, there's got to be more to life than this. Like working so hard and just like trying to stay ahead of the bills, or trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's like just trying to keep up with the image of what this looks like. I mean, and how dare you complain that you have a successful business? But there was a better way to create something more than just showing up each day. And so I just didn't know what it looked like till someone sat in front of me with a presentation and really peeled back the layers of what network marketing was. And man, did I have the biggest aha moment. Build a team, it changes your world. It's not all about you. And that's the golden nugget of network marketing.
So I've got to ask you, because you talked a little bit about it before, and I know that Caroline's experienced it and I've experienced it, but because we all, we've all been in network marketing from some time now, and every single person has heard the word pyramid, and every single person has heard exactly what you said to your friend is, I'll never do one of those things. I'll never do that thing. I don't tell people you do an MLM. When you're telling people about your business, what are they going to say? What are my friends going to say if I join one of a multi-level marketing, and all sorts of things flash in people's heads? And oh my gosh, Caroline was sharing earlier about how someone really talks a lot about the unsuccess of entrepreneurship. Like, could you imagine being on an interview? Could you imagine going on an interview for someone who's like really focusing on how, businesses, shut down within their first 2 years or 5 years? I'm like, wow, that's really bizarro. Like, that's just bizarro. So look, you've seen it, you've heard it. I think all of us are advocates for the other side. Share with me, what that is like for you. Like, share me what you think about that, how, it has been a swear word in the past, and yeah, just your thoughts on that.
I think it was just such a huge misconception for me. And I find it this way too, when a lot of times people, if you present something to them in the beginning, more in the beginning than it is today, people would say, oh, it's a pyramid thing. It's one of those things. And what I now like to ask them is like, what do you mean by that? Most people don't even know how to answer that. Like they don't really know what they're saying. It's just like a knee jerk. They've heard it before. But literally, it is just, it's such an amazing way to build leveraged income. It's not illegal. It's the most fair, even playing field where anyone has a chance to succeed. In fact, when it's done right, you literally have the ability to surpass the person that enrolled you. It's so not a pyramid. Actually, corporate structure is a pyramid. Let's be real. And most people don't realize that. They don't want to admit that. Most people are working at the bottom of a corporation, and the guy at the top is just really benefiting the most out of that. but owning your own business, and that's what we are. We're CEOs of our own businesses in network marketing. We're the CEO of our own organization. If it's gonna be, it's up to me. And I love that. I love that challenge. I love the ability to be able to grow this as big as I want to. I love the ability to just have influence in a positive way on so many different people. It's absolutely the most gold. I call it the golden ticket. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's nothing. It's the golden ticket. And a lot of times people just literally have a misconception about it. And actually, I can tell you 100% of the time, they have a misconception of what this industry can be. It is the golden ticket. It's just a phenomenal way to create a powerful legacy. It's a powerful way to build an asset. I look at it that way. I mean, I'm in my early 50s, but my husband and I are really wanting to build that retirement. I mean, that's what we're doing. We have that in our hands right now. And that's something most people don't have. What I find is that a lot of people that have been working for a corporation or an actual pyramid get to a point in their life where maybe they hit their 70 years and they're not able to actually retire. They get to that point and they haven't built something that can pay them back exponentially. And that's, if you can wrap your head around that and understand what this industry can create, you'll run through a brick wall to get it. And I believe that with my whole heart.
It's interesting because I've shared with many people, thank you for that. I've shared with many people that, not everybody that does network marketing is sitting in the same position as we did. We made our way to making the decision to do this full time. I had a full time, like we all had jobs and all had things that we were doing. And then it became obvious to us that it's an organic. And I think when sometimes people, they look at the industry, they're like, oh, but you're here, and it's like, so how did I get there? Same way that you got through your company. And I always say this one thing to people. I'm like, if you are really set on staying where you are, perfect. Most people do. We're the exception, right? But if you're going to build someone else's dream, make sure you build a dream alongside it that's all about you. And I think that from now, look at, I'm mid 50s. And when the only thing that ever equaled leverage before was if you could get yourself enough money to somehow buy a piece of real estate, that was thought of as somehow that was accumulating more money. And the other thing was owning franchises. And I say to people, like, what do you think about franchises? They're like, oh yeah. I'm like, so in multi-level marketing, network marketing, all these little people are free enterprises. They're it's like a franchise, right? Franchises are so expensive. It takes so long, yet it's always had a better, because it follows more of that traditional business outlook, right? Where you pour your heart and soul. Or a good friend of mine, I mean, bless his heart, sometimes when me and Caroline talk, she's truthful with me. She's like, she breaks through, like I'm not allowed a lot of fantasy around her. But, I had a friend of mine and he called me and he was devastated. He'd been at this company for 12 years. He was in sunglass wear. I don't know if you know how much money is in sunglasses. His team was bringing in $12 million and he'd been there and he worked really hard. He traveled and he sacrificed his family. He did all this and he goes, they let me go. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, that must be hardcore. No, like full on devastated. He's like, I don't know how. Like, I don't know how they can let me go. And I'm like, things. You didn't go to the altar with your company. And there wasn't like a marriage ceremony till death do you part. And I think that people think when they're in a company, the longer they're there, the safer they're there. And I said, darling, your contract with your company is how often do you get paid? He said 2 weeks. I said, your contract's 2 weeks. You work for them. They give you a paycheck for the work. What else is your company supposed to do? They're not your wife. They're not your, and I think that there's been a real shakeup of that paradigm that the company's going to take care of you forever. And they owe me. I go, they owe you for the last 2 weeks you worked there. He did not want to hear what I had to say. And it really messed him up.
I don't want to break your bubble here, but we're in 2021, even marriage, there's divorce that is available. So I'm saying that to really push the fact that there's no security in anything. you know, the only security you can build is when
Oh,
you're counting
Caroline
hours.
froze a little bit there.
Um,
So I'll continue on. She looks beautiful. Look at her.
oh,
Technology. But I think what she was talking about is that the one thing that, you know, network marketing does is it empowers you, right? It empowers you. You kind of went off a little bit there. You froze a little bit. So we continued without you.
sorry, there's a snowstorm here, so I think it's affecting the internet.
Yeah.
But basically, what I was saying is that when
Yeah.
you
So we
count,
just continued on.
yeah, should I just stop talking?
No, no, no. Keep going.
No.
Keep going.
Well, yeah, I could still hear you, and sorry everyone that we look lost. We are lost a little, and we're gonna get back on track. But you know, it's technology and all of this. But in network marketing, the part that I really, really love, and for me, that's what really hit it home when I started, is someone told me, you know, they explained the industry instead of explaining the company that they were recruiting me for. And they were like, all the hours that you work, you'll be paid for. All the efforts that you put in, you'll be paid for. You know, whether you're paid right away or whatever, but everything depends on your efforts. And I've always been a person since I'm 13. I have a job. Like I was working at a corner store that has gas station and everything, and I was acting like I owned the building. You know, I was looking at people, see if they were stealing or whatever, and if they would have stole a pack of gum, it's like if they would have stolen from me. So I was always like super dedicated to any job that I did. So when that person explained to me, you get compensated on everything that you do, I was like, what? What? Because I always give my 100% because I've learned you can't say 110%. It doesn't exist. So I always give 100%. And it's the only industry that will actually compensate you for everything that you put in. And that is security for me because I depend on myself. Yes, you know, there's different companies. You have to choose a company that you are aligned with. There's thousands of different companies, so clearly you need to do your homework. You need to find the one that is really aligned with you, with your values. You have to be aligned with the leadership, and that's why we're three people here that really respect each other, and we're all super powerful in our own business, but we're not for the same company. And I would not try to recruit Marilee to come into my company because we're so different. So talk about that as well, Marilee. How did you choose the company that you're with now? Like, what made you say, this is it? This is my home? Because I know that Deb and I are in the same company, but when we talk about our company, we're married to our company, you know? And I know that you are married to yours as well. So what creates that?
Such a good question. You know, I think that in the journey, I can look back and say I can chalk everything up as tuition. And I've said this to my team, I've said this many times, but you learn a lot along the way. And I take the lessons, you know, learned, they're valuable. And so I was in two former companies prior to the one I'm in now. And what I learned is a lot of things. I learned that I love building a team. I love the space of health and wellness. When I landed in that, that was my first company was about health and wellness, but there was just something off in the culture in that company. And it didn't feel like I was in the exact right vehicle. And I didn't know that until I had kind of that feeling inside that just got so loud. And I did a knee-jerk reaction and I jumped into a company that looked like it was growing just like a rocket ship. It was just kind of like a brand new growing like a rocket ship. And that looked fun. I kind of got this shiny object thing. We've heard about that before. And so I made that knee-jerk reaction. 6 months into it, I knew I had made a colossal mistake. I was having success. I had success in the first company. I had success in the second company. But as fast as that company went up, it just did this dip down. And probably the biggest piece of that, though, was that from a cultural standpoint, I realized this was not what I was about. The messaging was really, really off. And so I met actually in that company, not part of my team, but I met a leader that had a massive amount of that company in her organization, and I really respected her. And so she made a switch, and I made a phone call to her and I said, "What is this that you are doing?" And she showed me one video that dropped my jaw on the floor. And I had been in the space of health and wellness. And one of the things that we talked about is their flagship product alone had an average of an 82% customer retention rate. And when you're in this space of network marketing and you build leveraged income, and in your prior companies before, you just kept putting customers in and then more customers on top of it, what you want at the end of the day, and as I said before, I want longevity. I want to build an asset. I want to know that if I'm building a customer base, that customer base is so loyal that they're going to stay on these products year after year after year. So I knew that I needed to find something that was unique. I knew I needed to find something that you couldn't just go buy, knock it off in a box store. Or it needed to be unique. I knew that was a lesson I had learned as well. And so when I found my current company, which is Life Vantage, I absolutely knew that it was just the perfect fit for me. And so it's all about cellular anti-aging, and it's an extraordinary science behind it, and actually kind of a unique story. Their product it started on store shelves, 40 years of science to develop the concept of activation using the science of nutrigenomics, which is taking natural compounds in plants to combine them synergistically to actually activate your body at a cellular level. Like, I did not know, this is how crazy. Yeah, I was in the health and wellness space. I did not know until I had seen that initial video that we have an antioxidant factory right inside our bodies. But by the time we're like 20 years old, that starts to slow down. You can reactivate that, not by just eating really good foods or taking supplements, but you can literally activate that with the power of a synergy in one multi-patented, multi-peer-reviewed study product. And so I literally, from a preventative standpoint, it was a no-brainer. I jumped in, and I ended up having a pretty extraordinary transformation on the product. That's not why I started it. I truly believe everybody needs to be on that particular product, but now they've developed an entire line based off activation. So, and it's drawn over 2,000 healthcare professionals into the company alone. So that said a lot to me, but it's just knowing what you have to find the right fit for you. And that's what it's about. It's literally, what are you passionate about? I'm passionate about health and wellness. We have, hair care, skin care, and it's all based on that concept of activation, but it's a unique conversation. It's a special conversation. And it's something, as you can tell, I get passionate about. But what I would tell anybody is you have to look at what is it that fires your soul? What can you get up every day and get excited to talk about and share with others? Because people don't buy what you're selling, they buy you, right? And so I think you need to just get behind whatever it is that you are selling and know that this is me to the core. And I can confidently say that's what I have found. And it's been an amazing fit. We've had a lot of success here, but I absolutely love what I do. And I love that it's in the space of network marketing.
Well,
so Marilee, I've got to ask, because part of our business is so much around personal development, right? And you've definitely been on a personal development journey, and you are obviously with that sense of enthusiasm here to stay and share that with others. I mean, we haven't mentioned it, but Marilee is one of the founding authors of the 20 Powerful Women in Network Marketing Tell All book series. And it was such a journey and such serendipity how I met someone who said, you got to meet her, and we hit it off right away. And that's how the world works, right? And so to be able to capture your whole story, it's been interesting, because it's a beautiful business development story, but it's also a very personal development story. And of course, they can read your story in the book. But from, where's your next step? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it for you right now in your life? You're obviously enthusiastic. You're all obviously loving it. I love that you're an advocate for this industry and really trying to smash down those words of which were the same words that you told your girlfriend, but where's it going for you? Where's the juice come for you from this to keep going, to keep going?
I think it's about impact. I think you get to a point where it's not about a paycheck. The paycheck, the income is extraordinary. But I think what it becomes is that once you prove to yourself that you can do something, and man alive, I mean, if you unwrapped my entire story, it's overcoming, just fear like crazy, and understanding that you can achieve more. You can change your mindset. I mean, literally, we say this in this industry, but it's literally only about 10% is about mechanics, 90% is about mindset. And I think when you really start to realize the power of that, and when you can apply that in this industry, for me, it becomes about impact. And I think that I absolutely love helping other people succeed. I think it's so fun when someone starts the business and they've got a goal, or a lot of people just need to replace a paycheck, or they need to build an extra income, and they don't even know what's possible on the inside. And I know that each of you ladies could say the same thing. Sometimes it takes someone on the outside to recognize greatness inside of someone. And I absolutely love this space of just my challenge and where do I want to grow. I want to keep pouring into people. I love helping people. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to me, is just if you have your hands on a platform that allows you to really touch and impact lives and make this world a better space, why not? I mean, when you realize and wrap your arms around what is truly capable, what you're capable of doing, and how big that touch and that outreach can be, to me, it's the most satisfying thing on the planet. And I'm excited to see how many more lives I can impact moving forward.
That's, I'm going to share one thing here. When I started in the business, I went to a convention, and I obviously was listening to the multimillionaire on stage saying like, oh, this is so amazing, and we're so happy, and we love helping people. And I was just like, of course you love helping people. You're making multi-million dollars every year. So, or I was looking at them like, of course you're happy, you're having this paycheck. There's something, and I clearly remember this feeling that I was not getting. For me, it was phony. I was just like, of course you're happy, you're promoting your product, or you want me to join. But I can say after 9 years, it's actually, those people are really that happy. And it's actually not about the paycheck. And I just want to reinforce that, because I've heard so many, super big leaders now say that, and I didn't understand it until I actually felt it inside. That yes, you do get to a place where your true mission and your true juice and the thing that really drives you is helping others. Yes, at first you want to get the paycheck. And it's, no one is like, oh, I don't want the paycheck anymore, now I just want to help people. I don't think no one is there either. But I just want to, say that for all of the listeners that are like, of course she's happy, like she's making this much money and she's successful. It's a journey. It's a whole journey, and it's a journey of like how you get there, the self-development that you do, the new person you become. Because I know for a fact, and people will read it in the book, you are not the same person that when you started 14 years ago. You grew into the better version of yourself. So yes, people, it is possible to really be this happy and really want to help people and be driven by that. I'm just saying that to all the skepticals out there. And I love your enthusiasm, Marilee. Honestly, it's like you talk about your products and I'm like, wow. And it also makes me understand one thing, is that when I hear you talk about your products, I'm like, they sound like the most amazing products and everything, but would I sell them? No, because it sits me back like right into my science class where I was so lost. And I was just like, I don't like science. I don't want to talk about science. Like for me, it's a conversation I don't think I could pour the same passion in, and which that brings to my point of like, everyone has their own fit and you just need to find your fit that goes with your passion that will actually make you want to grow and become the best version of yourself. So, but see, you made that interesting for me. That whole the science explanation. So thank you, Deb. Marilee, is there anything you would like to add? Like, how can people reach you if ever they want to try your products, try a sample, or just chat with you?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to my website, marileemaricich.com. They can also find me under Marilee Maricich on Facebook, Instagram, just kind of all over everywhere. But yeah, I would love to help. We've helped so many people feel so much better. And that's just such a gratifying thing. Or, to really be able to reach out and achieve their goals with something that really anybody can benefit from. And that's, again, back to the belief in the product. It really is that extraordinary. And I don't mean to geek out on the science part of it. If you like to feel better, do more, literally tap into something inside your own body and flip a switch that could change the way that you feel, the way your mental clarity is. It's out there, and it's really special. So love to help whoever would like to be helped. Here to help, and loving doing that, by the way.
Awesome.
And I think so. Thank you so much, Marilee and Caroline. It's a pleasure as always. And I think when I hear you talk, Marilee, I think what I hear is just a lot of hope, respect, and understanding, right? No matter where people are at, no matter what it is that they want, no matter how small, how big, and that when I hear you talk about your life and the way it is now, there was a time where you were going to bed and you just didn't see a way, right? You just didn't see a way, and how this industry has laid a path for you that was unforeseen. And I think, one of the things that I'd love to say is that if you are listening, if you are watching, and you are in a place of unforeseen, if you are just wanting something different, please reach out and have an experience of this industry, right? Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Because yes, you're talking to three women that have made their way, but the word that keeps ringing in my ears when you talk is journey, that it's been a journey. So even people that are entrepreneurial, coming into this industry are not, can have success, but there can be people, I've seen people with no experience. I've seen people that have never run a business before. I've seen people that honestly surpass that person, right? So I think it is about the journey. I think that you are just such a strong advocate for the industry, and I appreciate that as someone who's in the industry. So I think it's really about the unforeseen. You have a very powerful story. I commend you for sharing about the anxiety. That's part of the story in the book. You guys have to read that. Here's a woman who had so much debilitating anxiety, not for 3 months, but for years, that this industry was part of that breakthrough for her. So I just really appreciate your vulnerability in that as well. And so what a great, great interview that this has been, really about just change. And yeah, so anyways, I guess we will just, if there's nothing else that anyone wants to say, we'll sign off. And Marilee is absolutely available and willing to share and talk to people. So
thank you so much, ladies. An honor to be here, and an honor to be a part of this book. It's that too, part of the journey, meeting amazing people like you. And I'm so grateful for every bit of it, every step of the way.
Well,
awesome.
I feel the
Thank you.
same way, and we love you, Marilee. So
I
thank you
love
for
you
being
back.
part of the book. And just join us next week for another amazing interview.
All right.